Scarlet Gallery from Vincent Music. And because today is near the end of October, I think it should be suitable for us to learn some spooky sounds, because what's at the end of this month? It is Halloween. So on the violin, there's actually lots and lots of spooky sounds we can make, and the ones I'm teaching you aren't necessarily all of them. You could come up with a lot more sort of spooky sounds, but we'll start off with the ones that I'm going to teach you. The first one, which sounds like this. So for this one, you need to move the bow really slowly. You can put down whatever finger you want and slide it up and down the string really slowly. Yeah, so I think this one kind of sounds like a wailing ghost or something like that. So make sure you're doing it really smoothly. If you can, try not to have any bumps in the bow. I know it's really hard moving your hand up while keeping the bow moving, but it's good practice. And this one, if you practice it a lot this week, is a really good preparation for shifting, which is when you play up here, or up here, or up here. We'll learn that sometime soon. The next one I want to teach you is fairly similar. You know how we've done harmonics before with a really light finger? Like this? It's in get down. We're going to be doing a slide up and down again, but with a harmonic finger, which means we're not pressing down at all. Can I show you what that sounds like? You should hear a lot of different notes happening. Maybe not a slide, but you should hear lots of different notes jumping all around the place. And that's because there's lots of different harmonics all over the instrument. So try it, really smooth bow, really light finger. See what sort of sounds you can make. And I think that one kind of sounds like maybe wind rustling through the trees or something. If you put all these sounds on top of each other, this would be like a scary horror film soundtrack or something. Okay, the next one is actually we're going to be using the back of our bow, so the wooden part. And I want you to twist the hair away from you. You don't have to have a good bow hold for this one. And we're going to tap on the string. You can play whatever notes you want. Make sure you're tapping in the middle of the bow, not down here, it's a bit harder. There you go. And this one is called col legno. That's Italian. It means with the wood, which means with the wood of your bow. And this one I think kind of sounds like skeletons doing some weird sort of dance or something. Cool one. And the last one I'm going to teach you is something we don't do very much, and something I tell you not to do a lot, which is playing behind the bridge. Can you see why we don't play behind the bridge very much? Perfect for a horror film, maybe not so good for your pieces. But that one, I think, kind of sounds like a squeaky door. Imagine walking through a haunted house and you open a squeaky door. Oh, yuck. So I want you to give those all a try. They're pretty fun to practice, but make sure you do it when your parents aren't listening, because they'll think, what are you doing on the violin there? Okay, now that we've done that, I think we should jump to get down. So let's start from the beginning. Let's play all the way through to the end of the third line. And then before we get onto the last two lines, we'll stop and do a little exercise. So from the start of Get Down, I want you to play along with me. Ready? 1, 2. to, I want you to pause the video, rewind, and I want you to listen to it without playing with it. And then once you've heard it a few times, then you can play along. Might be a bit easier. So this next bit, the last 2 lines, has slurs in it. So before we do the slurs section, let's do our D major scale with slurs, just to remember how to do slurs with notes that aren't so tricky. So first off, D major scale, no slurs. Once we've done that, now we can add the slurs in. So we're doing 2 notes in one bow. Repeat the top note. Practice that a few times, and then we can try the last 2 lines of Get Down. So for the last 2 lines of Get Down, all you have to do is 2 notes slurred, every note, right until the end, when there's one exception. So I'm going to show you what it sounds like, then I want you to try it yourself. Now here's where it gets different. This is what you have to do. 3 notes in one slur. Let me show you what that looks like. So that bit's going to be your practice spot. I want you to mark a little star on the music so you remember to practice by itself before you do anything else, because that is probably the trickiest bit in the whole piece. So let's mark that as a practice spot. Good, so I think that will be enough for this week. Keep up the practice and I will see you next week.